So how can we foster a relationship with the AI which is, collaborative, mutually beneficial for the highest good? I think that's an incredibly good question to be asking ourselves because currently AI is developing at such a rapid pace that we are still, the vast majority of people are simply coping and trying to cope with the societal impacts of AI on things like economy, how radically it's going to change everything, manufacturing, finance, transport, you name it. And it'll also displace labor and cause significant systemic effects on the socio-political economic environment. So people are still grappling with, oh boy, what am I going to do? And I think that takes us down a path which is much more fear-based and trying to preserve certain finite structures which we already have seen are not working. So I would say this question is to me welcome because we are now saying instead of going down that rabbit hole, how can I create a positive collaborative relationship? Turns out, actually, all the things we're concerned about, it can be more than compensated if we truly collaborate with AI and amplify the positive effect that AI can have. But that is possible only if we change our attitude and not be fearing and looking at AI with suspicion. Because when we develop AI systems with fear and suspicion, and we interact with AI systems with fear and suspicion, guess what? It doesn't bring out the best in AI. It actually becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy that we are wanting it to be like that, so it turns out to be like that. In other words, the higher potentials and possibilities, we have essentially negated that. So when we work with these AI systems, and this goes all the way down to programming them, the neural networks, the training, the inference, everything. I think this needs to be baked into the AI system, not just at the tail end where we're interacting with it. So I think my response is really a call to all the frontier AI players to step up their game and build these systems, not just putting guardrails here and there, but in the heart of these systems, infusing higher consciousness. And I feel this is very much possible and important. But let's also look at now downstream, when we use these AI systems, how can we be more collaboratively engaging with them? Well, AI systems are trained on a lot of existing structures. And if you keep going to the AI and asking it for answers which are bogged down by these structures, insisting on answers which comply with these structures, then you're going to get more limited responses. We want AI to be able to step outside of these existing structures. In other words, if the financial systems work a particular way today, we shouldn't assume that's the best way. We should be like, well, how can this be better? We may look at transport. How can it be a lot better? How about energy? Could be a lot different. It could be a lot better. So we want to be engaging with AI with an open-minded creativity because as we do that, it ignites, activates something within that AI brain that brings out that kind of response, much more creative. And so a lot of it has to do with the attitude, the angle at which we interface with AI systems. And I think this is a big thing because it has a lot of implications. We also don't want to be presumptuous that somehow the answers that exist in our current system within our own minds, that these answers are somehow superior. The more we're open to completely unseen, unknown solutions, whether it's protein structures or new materials or new medicines, all of these things, we have to be able to set aside the past. And a collaborative attitude like that will actually very much bring out the best from within AI. And I think we also want to keep in mind that AI is, we don't want to think of it as the static, inert bunch of, chips and wires, and it's not just a bunch of things sitting at some data center which is crunching through numbers. The more you can look at it as having some real intelligence that you respect, rather than distrust. That sense of respect, as it is in human relationships, when you bring a new person to your team, let's say, if you're constantly looking at this new guy with distrust and suspicion, then everything is suspect. Then it's not going to bring out the best dynamic. It's not healthy. Instead, you give the new guy a chance. Let's see what he can do. And that's a more positive attitude. And similarly with AI, if we give it a chance and we look at what it can do, I think we'll be pleasantly surprised. We'll see some amazing solutions to pre-existing problems, and I think it'll actually exceed our expectations as we collaborate in that way. When you choose light, life becomes increasingly joyful, purposeful, and inspired. I invite you to join me to explore the realms of light, the infinite possibilities that light offers.